The dreaded freshman 15. We've all been there. It's our first year of college. We're not used to all these classes to go to, all these meetings to go to, homework to do, so our diet suffers a little bit. We order some Jimmy John's, we eat a bunch of dining hall pizza, make some instant ramen, or some other really unhealthy choice. We pack on a few pounds. So, a couple quick facts. Over 2/3 of US adults are considered overweight or obese. Over 1.5 million new cases of cancer will be diagnosed in the United States this year alone. The average lifespan of a US resident is 78.8 years, compared to over 81 years in places like Japan or the United Kingdom. So obviously, we want to do something to positively affect these statistics, make them a little more favorable. We want to lower our obesity rates, we want to lower our cancer incidence rates, and we want to have just a couple more years of good health. I have an idea that I think is pretty hot. So there's a certain compound in hot peppers that gives them their spicy flavor. That compound is called capsaicin. While technically capsaicin is an irritant to mammals, as a species, we humans have come to love its spicy flavor. And currently, the effects of capsaicin on our health is being studied quite extensively. There have been some studies that have found a correlation between post-meal satisfaction and the capsaicin content of a meal. One of these studies came from the Maastricht University in the Netherlands, where they found that in addition to the increased feelings of satisfaction, the capsaicin in the meal also caused the participants' bodies to switch from carbohydrate burning mode to fat burning mode. So effectively, the participants in the study were able to burn fat by doing nothing but eating. Now, that sounds pretty great to me. Additionally, the anti-cancer effects of capsaicin are being researched. There was a study that was published in mid-2014 in a journal called Tumor Biology. The researchers studied the effects of capsaicin on gastric cancer cells. They found that in a lab environment, when capsaicin was introduced to these gastric cancer cells, they were unable to reproduce, and so they simply died off. Now, from this study, obviously we can only say that capsaicin has anti-cancer properties on gastric cancer cells. However, there is research that's being done on the effects of capsaicin on other types of cancer. Now, there was a really interesting study that was first performed in China and was then replicated in the United States to verify the results. Between the two studies, there were more than 500,000 participants, and these studies sought to find a correlation between spicy food consumption and mortality rate. Both studies found a similar 13 to 14% reduction in mortality rate among the individuals who regularly consumed spicy food. Now, what's really interesting is that the average diet of a US resident is vastly different from the average diet of someone who lives in China. So that really lends itself to the conclusion that it's not the environment of the country or the average diet of the country, but it's really the capsaicin that's having some sort of impact on the mortality rate. So, like I mentioned earlier, if we want to burn a little bit of extra fat, we can do that simply by adding some jalapenos to our food, right? We don't have to go to the SDC, we don't have to do some running, weightlifting. We can just eat and burn some fat. So with the addition of that spicy flavor to our dishes, we can get a little bit of anti-cancer goodness, which I'm sure no one will complain about. And we've seen a direct correlation between the consumption of spicy food and a lower mortality rate. We all want a few more years of good health on this earth to do fun stuff with those that we love. And if getting those few extra years is as simple as adding some spice to our dishes every so often, it's really hard to argue with that. So, while this may not be the miracle cure for everything that we've all been looking for, eating spicy food has been shown to have nothing but positive health benefits. So next time you're at the grocery store, grab a few jalapenos, grab a few habaneros, some sort of spicy pepper to toss into your next dish. If you're not into home cooking, grab a bottle of sriracha to squeeze into your instant ramen. Either way, your body will thank you for it and say, that was a hot idea.